Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Science Lab, DeMarvion Overshone is far from done with NFL, Cowboys. I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So, all jokes aside, while I'll always defer to the medical and athletic training staff as it relates to the status and prognosis of Dallas Cowboys players, I've also seen, experienced and/or covered enough injuries in sports that I can confidently state the following. I realize that my weekly editions of Science Lab are typically more of a deep dive into trends and whatnot, but allow me this week to address the woolly mammoth in the room, because with the season-ending injury to Overshone's right knee has come a flood of doubters who continually float the preposterous idea that the talented young linebacker has played his last snap in Dallas, and maybe in his NFL career. These are likely the same people who use WebMD when they have a runny nose and then tell their entire family they're dying of bubonic plague with a sprinkle of syphilis, though the latter might explain the holes in their logic, red brain. The facts of the matter are indeed catastrophic, so let's not sugarcoat it. He will soon be moved to injured reserve after he undergoes surgery to repair 3 torn ligaments in his knee, his ACL, MCL, and PCL, and his road to recovery will be daunting, arduous, and all other synonymous adjectives that qualify to describe the hell he's about to push through to reach the greatness awaiting on the other side of it. He isn't simply down for the remainder of 2024, but due to the injury being suffered in mid-December, his entire 2025 season is indeed in jeopardy as well, and a more realistic prognosis is that he should be expected back for 2026, be it that calendar year, wink, wink, or the start of that regular season, but, yes, he will be back. There is reportedly no nerve damage in his knee, and that's massively good news because it means the injury isn't akin to that of what Jalen Smith suffered in his final game at Notre Dame ahead of that year's draft, when it was the Cowboys staff helping him to achieve the impossible in helping the nerve to regenerate while overcoming drop foot, a condition that occurs when the main nerve in the leg is severed and there's loss of control of the corresponding foot to return to the football field when many told him he'd never play again. Cowboys lineman targeted in another home robbery. The home of Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Linval Joseph has been targeted in a series of home robberies across the country over the past month. The string of crimes has been specifically directed at other professional athletes with some big names in the NFL on that list. Joseph's home in the St. Paul, Minnesota, suburb Sunfish Lake was burglarized in November. 3 other burglaries in that community, spanning from September to November, were reported to police. The cases seem to be connected to a widespread series of burglaries in the area and to those involving other professional athletes around the country. We know that they're using some sophisticated techniques in order to determine when people at the home are leaving and where exterior cameras are situated on homes, and the burglaries have been the work of more than one person, West St. Paul Police Chief Brian Sturgeon said of the crimes in the Twin Cities area. This of course adds an extra scare for Joseph, who is currently playing professionally in Texas and having some partial residence far away from his home. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the FBI has begun an investigation into what many believe is a case of international organized crime stemming from a South American crime ring. It's legit, a source said. It's a transnational crime ring, and over the last 3 weeks, they've focused on NBA and NFL players, and it's all over the country. Within this series of burglaries, the cases seem to occur when the athletes or family are not present at the place of residence. Earlier this week, the home of Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow was burglarized during the team's Monday night matchup with the Cowboys. Kansas City Chiefs stars Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes were also victims in the recent string of crime. The NFL has since issued a notice for its players with recommendations on a number of security measures and precautions they can take to best protect themselves and their families. Nonetheless, this has created a scary situation for Joseph and many other athletes across the country. Cowboys critics hint Jerry Jones too cheap to hire Lions' $125 million coach Ben Jhonson. Ben Jhonson will be the sexiest candidate on this offseason's NFL coaching carousel, and if the Dallas Cowboys, presently sitting on a 5-8 record amid questions about lame duck Mike McCarthy's status, opt for a change? There is a reason for team owner Jerry Jones to be attracted to sexiness. Parts of this formula are easy. Parts of this formula are difficult. And one component being manufactured by ESPN now makes it all rather confounding. ESPN analyst Bill Barnwell is sharing his vision for fixing the Cowboys in 2025. He's urging Jones to hire Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Jhonson. There is nothing new or clever about the idea. Try to hire the best candidate? That's easy. More difficult? An issue we address below. More confounding? That's where ESPN comes in. Barnwell suggests Dallas should offer Jhonson a 5-year contract of $125 million. But what he doesn't do is explain why. Why is that specific number important? Johnson's work as the offensive coordinator in Detroit has been impeccable, Barnwell said, and that is a fine point. The Lions' offense ranks first in points per game, 32.1, and second in total yards, 394.8. The Lions are currently 12-1, leading the NFC and building on last year's NFC Championship appearance. Obviously, the team that hires Jhonson, the Chicago Bears, will have to pay him. So why is Barnwell obsessed with the notion that it is Dallas that must do so? Dallas might instead need to take a bigger swing to fix its offense, Barnwell said. The Cowboys can't subvert the salary cap, and they can't buy first-round picks, but spending on coaches is uncapped. Paying Jhonson this much would represent a significant investment and probably make every other team in the league angry, but coaches as a whole are underpaid. We're fine with Jhonson. We're fine with $25 million per year. But we're not fine with making this a Cowboys thing, except that maybe it is ESPN's intention to trigger all those Dallas critics who portray Jones as cheap, and that makes Barnwell's focus confounding. Allow us to take you in a better direction. Word is that Jhonson has expressed some preferences, among those organizational alignment between the GM and the head coach and recognition from the organization of the things that have gone wrong, and a willingness to fix them. Can that first thing happen with Ben Jhonson and Jerry Jones? Of course, if Jhonson can accept that this GM is his boss. Is Dallas good at recognizing the things that have gone wrong, with a willingness to fix them? No. By reputation, Jones views himself as the answer and often argues that things are not wrong at all. Which in our view is exactly what is wrong. For all the good things the Cowboys offer as an employer, 4 years top NFL coaches have expressed an understanding of how Dallas is different, while at the same time calling working here the big stage. Jones' alleged stubbornness might be an obstacle for some prospective candidates. So don't make it about the need. Don't make it about the money. Make it about Jones' Cowboys' willingness to recognize and change what's wrong. That is the reason, based on Johnson's own whisper, that he's unlikely to land at the Star. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ben Jhonson? Leave your opinion in the comments.